Welcome to our meditation time. It is an honor to get to spend these few minutes with you. It is an honor to spend them with myself, just really connecting to this present moment. And so I would just invite you just to get comfortable. Just allow your eyes to close once you get to that spot that feels right for you. Just really anchor through your sit bones. Just kind of notice how you're seated, whether it's on a soft surface or a harder surface. Just really notice the grounding beneath you. Feel the support of it. Notice how sturdy and steady you feel, because this is going to help guide us into these moments that we're going to spend together. And then give yourself permission that as that foundation begins to feel a little different, adjust. Move the body, make adjustments, and then come back to this spot where you feel secure and steady and grounded. So as we're settling the physical body, let's connect to the energetic parts of us as we take a slow breath in together. And then exhale, just gently release it out. And a slow breath in. And a gentle breath out. And breathing in. And breathing out. And then shift into a rhythm that serves you in this moment. That gives you what you need to, again, feel anchored and grounded and secure. And so as we settle into our time and we head into a little exploration of what's happening in our mind, what are we feeling? What are we noticing? I would invite each of us just to pause and just reflect on any moment in the last few days where you haven't felt grounded, where your foundation, your base, your roots have felt a little unsteady. For some of you, it may be something physical. You were standing on one foot in a yoga class and you didn't feel as grounded as maybe you wanted to. For others, it could be in a relationship. It could be in some unknown situation happening at work. It could be something in your family. You're waiting on news from a doctor. It could be anything that just in the last few days has made you feel just unsteady and uncertain. And the first thing I want us all to recognize is those feelings don't discount the time that we spend in meditation. It doesn't make us any less aware. It doesn't make us any less connected to the present moment. It makes us really human. We were meant to feel and to experience. But what this practice does is that as we feel and as we experience, we keep this really keen awareness of how those feelings and how those experiences are impacting us. And so whatever that situation is that you brought to mind, that one time or maybe multiple times when you just felt a little insecure, a little unsteady, a little tenuous, go back and notice now in this moment how you're seated. Feel the ground beneath you, the chair, the sofa, the bed, whatever it is that you are on, just feel it supporting you. And let's just think to ourselves, what if we could take this physical sensation right here from our practice? If we know that the ground is beneath us, the furniture, whatever it is, we're not going to fall. We are supported. We are held. What if we could take that into all those moments of life? Into the moments where we know what's coming and into the moments where we really have no idea. Well, I would tell you that it's very possible to take this exact sensation right here, the way that you physically feel wherever you are in your spot, this physical feeling can begin to manifest in our heart, in our mind, in our emotions, in the core of our being. So that when uncertainty comes, because it will, we come back to this moment right here. The breath reminds us that we are steady, we are grounded, we are held. The same way that that chair, that sofa, that bed, that carpet is holding you right where you are right now. So in yoga, this path of yoga, not the yoga we do on that rubber mat, but yoga, the larger scope of us trying to find union between all the parts of us. Yoga teaches us that there are many limbs to this way of being. One of those limbs is what we do practice on a mat, this limb of asana, and we move our body with intention and we learn about ourselves and we heal ourselves. We find vibrancy and energy, we find rest and relaxation. Another one of those limbs we're doing right now, the limb of meditation, where we pause from the activity of life. We reset our awareness into the present moment. And there are other limbs, each with a different purpose. But today and in the coming days, I want us to explore the limb that is connected to our foundation, that makes us feel steady and supported and held. And it's the very first limb that we learn about. It's often compared that all these limbs make up this one tree of yoga, and we are the trunk. Each of us, there's just one. But there is this part of yoga, this limb, that are the roots. And you know, as you look across your yard or you look across the park or you walk through the forest, that those trees are not just sitting on the surface. There is a root system beneath the earth that we cannot see that holds those trees in place. And so while we are physically on a spot right here, what I'd like us to do in the coming days is cultivate something beyond just the physicality of a chair or the ground or a sofa, but to begin to live out through our understanding these roots that go deeper than just the surface of the ground. So that when the stuff of life comes, just like those trees that you see in the park and in nature, we are held right in place. We are rooted. So in yoga, in Sanskrit, we call these the YAMAS. Sometimes they're called these moral precepts or these disciplined ways of being. But what they do is they give you this assurance of how to be. When people are unkind, these teachings, these yamas, give you a way to respond. When the future is unclear and maybe a little scary, these teachings, these yamas, give us a way to keep moving forward. When our relationships don't always end up the way that we anticipated or we hoped they would be, these teachings, again, give us grounding to know that we are held and we are secure and we are safe. And so I want us just to pause here for just a few breaths and just really notice, again, that seat where you are. Feel it. Notice the surface. Maybe it's just your sit bones, maybe your legs, maybe you're leaning. Just feel all those points of contact where you know you're not going to fall. Feel them. Notice them. And just think to yourself, what if I could take this sensation and begin to embed it into my heart and my mind and my emotions? So that even as life comes and situations arise, I still feel as secure and grounded as I feel in this chair where I am tonight. Just think to yourself what that would be like. The greatest impact of these tools that we get from the yogic teachings, from the stuff we do on the mat, to our time in meditation on these spots where we land, to these yamas, these moral precepts, these disciplined ways of being that we're going to explore. The greatest impact of all of them is freedom. I have a feeling that each of us has experienced a moment in life where someone did something or said something or a situation happened and our emotions began to bubble up and we felt like we couldn't stop them. We couldn't stop the emotions. That other person, it's almost like they were the conductor of our story. And our emotions were responding to whatever was happening around us. Just pause and reflect for a second how that makes you feel when you feel like you can't get control of your emotional responses to what's happening. Usually the first reaction is we want to blame. If they wouldn't do that, then I wouldn't feel this. That's such a natural way to think. But then beyond that, we start to feel uncertain. We start to ask questions of why. Why do I feel this way? Why do I respond this way? Why do I let what they did or what they do create this response in me? But what this practice teaches us and what we're going to explore in the coming days is that we do have control. But we, not just we in this collective space now, but we as human beings, we tend to give it away a lot. We serve up our control of our emotions to everyone around us. And they press the buttons and they pull the strings and we just play along. But I want to propose that there is a different way of living. And in this way of living, people will still be unkind. They will still hurt our feelings. They'll still make irresponsible choices. Situations will still be a little scary. But through these teachings and this practice, we will, as sure as we have this seat beneath us, we will be so grounded in our own control of our emotions that we'll begin to catch a glimpse of what that freedom feels like. And I will tell you from personal experience that once you have a sense of what that freedom is like, you never want to go backward. The next unkind person comes, the next gossip is shared, the next situation is not very fun, but you navigate it on your terms with really healthy boundaries and healthy choices and emotions that you choose to offer. It is the most liberating way of living your life. And it will help you to feel as grounded as you are in this spot physically where you are in this moment. It's like taking the chair with you so you never feel like you're not supported. And so I want us just to reflect on what that could be like. And as we enter these coming days and we sit with these teachings and we apply them to our own personal situations, we're going to keep building up our foundation, our roots, little by little by little. But for today, let's just anticipate and let's just sit with this idea of freedom. Freedom where when someone drives a certain way, I choose how I feel. When someone at work misses a deadline and it impacts my work, I choose my response. When my spouse or my partner or my closest family and friends disappoint me, I choose how it impacts me. And so let's just sit for these couple minutes of quiet with this idea of how liberating those choices are. How secure you will feel when you start to catch a glimpse of what that freedom is like. The same way you're going to control the breath in and control the breath out. We'll begin to shift that to how we make decisions and how we offer our emotions to whatever arises. So let's just sit. Notice what comes up in your mind's eye and continue to breathe. And as you continue to breathe slow and deep, just a few more breaths here together, just picture in your mind the most incredible, tall, wide, strong tree that you can even imagine. And then think to yourself, what must that root system look like? From the redwoods to the sequoias to the big giant oak tree in your backyard, whatever the tree is, just imagine it. And then think, what must be below the surface to hold that majestic tree in place for so long? And then imagine, what will my life be like when my root system is just as strong, just as deep? Namaste.